how NASA may have just pinpointed the exact day Jesus died. I mentioned this the other day, I think, on this show. April 3rd, 33 AD. I don't buy it. NASA scientists have calculated the date a lunar eclipse occurred in AD 33 that may pinpoint the day of Jesus' crucifixion. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to show you what I personally believe is the day of Jesus' crucifixion, and it's not April 3rd, 33 AD. In Genesis 1, we read that God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." So it's not surprising that there would be at least one sign in the heavens to mark the death of Jesus as a sacrifice for the sins of the world. The New York Post reported that NASA's astronomical models suggest, astronomical models suggest that a lunar eclipse turned the moon red over Jerusalem on Friday, April 3rd, 33 AD, a date that many scholars tie to Jesus' death. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, we read from the 6th hour, noon, there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. But extra biblical texts indicate that in addition to this daytime darkness, a blood moon occurred the night of Jesus' death. At his crucifixion, the sun was darkened, the stars appeared, and in all the world people lighted lamps from the 6th hour till evening. The moon appeared like blood. Read a passage from the Report of Pilate, part of the New Testament's Apocrypha. So I didn't know if you'd heard of the Report of Pilate. The Bible Answer site Got Questions reported that AD 33 is likely the year Jesus' crucifixion was, based on prophecy in the book of Daniel. Daniel 9, the prophet writes of being visited by the angel Gabriel while he and his fellow Jews were being held in Babylonian captivity. Gabriel told him that the time from the decree to rebuild Jerusalem is issued until the anointed one, i.e. Jesus, is cut off, will be 69 weeks of years, or 483 years. And then it talks about converting the 360-day calendar to be used by the Jews, blah, blah, blah. So there's some more detail here, and then it goes back into April 3rd, AD 33 was the date, the exact date Jesus died, they think. So what I was going to say about that was, and if you've seen any of the End Times Dates videos that I put out starting in 2019 up through about the end of 2021, you may recognize this. This is actually a semi-blurry, my apologies, photo of this timeline that I have on the wall in my office. And yes, Kathy Moore has hit the nail on the head. Michael Rood pinpointed crucifixion date. Sorry, cannot remember right now, but not 4/3/33. Kathy, you're exactly right. It's exactly what I was going to say. That is what we're looking at here. This is a little snippet here of the Michael Rood timeline. Now, Michael Rood, if you guys didn't know, is someone who spent 40 years of his life painfully putting together the Gospels in chronological order. And because he did this and spent so much time researching this, he figured out exactly what the dates were by figuring out exactly the chronological order of the Gospels. And they're all, and not just one Gospel, but all of them. So this that we're looking at, this semi-blurry picture here, is the last few days leading up to the crucifixion and then right after that. So the important part here really is on the vertical, and the text is a little hard to read, so I will read it for you. We'll start here. The fig tree withers. So this day right here is starting with the fig tree withers. And if you look at these numbers right above it, it's the 25th of April. This is April, because here's May 1st right here, right? So the 25th of April, according to Michael Rood, was the day the fig tree withers. Now, that is in the year 28, though. It's talking about the year 28, so AD 28. All right, fig tree withers on the 25th. The Temple Mount sermon was on the 26th. The Judas conspiracy was on the 27th. Note that 27 is a bunch of threes. Kind of weird. The Last Supper and the betrayal was on the 28th. Early on the 28th. And then the Passover and the crucifixion was at the end of the 28th. And 28th is 4 7s. Don't you think God would probably make an important date be a bunch of 7s? Seems like he would to me. So Jesus was literally crucified on April 28th, AD 28. According to Michael Rood's research here. Again, he spent 40 years doing this. I think he probably knows what he's talking about. So crucifixion, AD 28, happened on April 28th, not AD 33 on April 3rd. So that is not whatever NASA's putting out about that. I personally do not believe. And then looking at the rest of this, we have after the crucifixion, women prepare the spices, 29th into the 30th, resurrection on the Sabbath, which according to this is going to be on the 1st of May. First fruits presentation on the 2nd of May, first appearance really on the 2nd of May, AD 28. And then about May 9th, he appears to Thomas. So anyway, and at some point, we talked about it, but at some point in here, in this gap right here, is when Jesus, who was resurrected, descended into hell and got the keys from death, hell, and the grave from Satan and reascended to, well, first, to be seen here, first appearance right here, to be seen by Mary, by the women, and he told Mary not to touch him because he had not ascended to his Father yet. That happened here around May the 2nd of the year 28. And because he hadn't ascended to his Father, he still needed to put the blood onto the mercy seat, on the real one, on top of the Ark of the Covenant, the real Ark of the Covenant, in heaven, the throne room. So he still had to do that yet. That happened apparently in this period of time right here. Because at this point, when he appears to Thomas, he lets Thomas touch him. Here, he couldn't be touched. Here, he could be touched. I think it's fascinating. Anyway, this is a really cool timeline. It's on my wall. The actual version of this is in full clear detail. So I will try and take new pictures of this. I took this with an old camera. And not very good lighting. So I'll do it again and see if I can get a better shot of it. But it's really interesting, I think. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention and note that it was not April 3rd, 33 AD, in my opinion. See what you guys are seeing. Yeah, I have his Bible book. It is amazing, Kathy says. Yeah, the chronological Gospels. And he probably has others. We have all the years wrong, according to Rube. Yeah, Michael Rood has pretty much pointed out that all the years are wrong. And that is why I come back to the series that I put out, which is based on the year, on the book and video series called 2028 End, says that Jesus Christ will return 2,000 years after crucifixion. His crucifixion and resurrection happened in the year AD 28. 2,000 years later would be 2028. Which is why I said, going back, 7 years from September of 2028 puts you as September of 2021 as the beginning of the final 7 years. That's what I've been saying all this time, since 2019. Just working backwards. So, I think it's fascinating, and I do think Rood is exactly right, personally. And we're seeing things unfold dramatically fast at this point, and it would not surprise me if Jesus does return in 2028. I still think that, who knows? But we'll see. We'll either be here, or I guess we'll be taken out some other way. But I don't think we will be zapped out of here by a pre-trib rapture, because we're already in the tribulation. That's my opinion. I'm sure many of you guys share that same opinion.